Welcome back, Yogis. I'm so happy you're here. Today we have a restorative yoga flow to help you reset your body, mind, and spirit. Let's step onto the mat and find a wide-legged stance, just closing the eyes and getting all your wiggles out, feeling your feet press into the earth and the ground supporting you. Let's inhale, floating the arms up above the head. Exhale, bend those knees, sinking the hips back. Inhale, stretch for the sky. Exhale, release. Just warming up the body here. Expanding the lungs. Getting the blood moving as we begin our practice. On an exhale, float the arms down to the side, turning the palms face forward and finding stillness. Notice what's coming up for you today. Whether it be sensations in the body or thoughts in the mind. Let's inhale and reach those arms overhead one last time. Exhale to take you all the way down to the floor, setting up for child's pose. Option to use blocks here today. I think it's just a nice way to integrate a modification, but take it or leave it. Just finding your balasana, sinking those hips back to the heels and letting the spine round forward. Completely surrendering to this moment. As you breathe, feel the skin on the back stretch with your inhales. And as you exhale, squeeze every bit of air out of those lungs. Taking both hands to the left side of the mat, opening the right side body a little further. Don't push it too hard, we're still warming up here. Releasing hands through center, taking them both to the right side of the mat, opening up that left side body. Using the breath, begin to release any tension out of the neck and shoulders. Letting go of any stagnant energy. Rising up to our tabletop position. Again, option to keep the blocks here as we move into our cat-cow. Inhale, taking the gaze up to the sky as you drop the belly. Exhale, pressing through the hands, rounding the spine for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat, really dropping that tailbone down to the heels. Taking a few rounds on your own breath cycle. Welcoming loving, gentle movement into the spine. Last round here. And then let's move into a supported camel. So bringing those blocks behind you if you need it, and then lifting those hips up, giving the front body a nice release. Making sure you're not feeling any pain or strain in the wrists or neck. Noticing your own personal edges for today. Good job, guys. Coming to the middle of your mat in Hero, heels just tucked up underneath the hips, let's take our backstroke arms. So just warming up the shoulder joints, offering a bit of release in the chest and heart area. We're not shooting to make any specific shape, so I just want you to find what feels good. Your arm can have a bent elbow if that gives you a bit more rotation. Let's inhale, circling both arms up, and then exhale to float both arms down to the sides. Finding your breath as we roll the shoulders up and back away from the ears. Really scrunching the muscle as you lift the shoulders up to the ears and then intentionally releasing the muscles and letting the shoulder blades fall down the back. Let's drop the chin to the chest and then take it up to the sky. Beginning to warm up the front and back of the neck. Just keeping things nice and loose here. And then setting up for our tabletop, hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. Let's find our hip circles. So taking that heel up to the ceiling, drawing circles to the side in one direction. And then reverse the direction of the circle. Inviting warmth into that hip joint. It should feel really wonderful if you work at a desk or have been sitting for an extended period of time. Let's tuck those toes and press it back into downward facing dog. Giving yourself a moment to walk out the dog, bending one knee and then the other. Again, today's practice is not about pushing yourself. This is a restorative practice to help you reset. So just go inward and ask your body what it needs today. Walking the hands back to the feet, letting the head hang heavy in our forward fold, and then rolling up through the spine. We'll all meet in Tadasana, mountain pose. Your weight is evenly distributed through all four corners of your feet. As we inhale, we'll reach the hands up to the sky. Exhale to let it go into our forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to release. Inhale, walking out into high plank. exhale, drop those knees to the mat, and we'll set up to take our hip circles on the other side. Just shake it out here in tabletop. Wiggle those hips back and forth, just releasing any tension. And then taking the opposite leg, lifting the heel up to the ceiling and finding those hip circles on the other side. Notice if any tension is building up in the head, neck, or shoulders. Really press the earth away through the hands, taking that weight out of the wrists. Reverse the direction of your circle if you haven't already. And when you feel satisfied, we'll lift those hips into our downward facing dog once again. Hopefully the backs of the legs are starting to feel a bit more present, but go ahead and walk out the dog, really driving those heels into the earth. Let's walk the feet up to the hands this time, finding our forward fold, letting gravity hang the head heavy. And then stacking vertebra on top of vertebra, you'll roll up to mountain pose. Inhale, stretching the arms up to the sky, maybe taking a tiny back bend as you exhale to dive forward, forward fold. Let go. Inhale to find that head to tail connection for half lift. On an exhale, ground the hands and step it back into high plank, lowering the knees and coming into our tabletop. Inhale to extend the left leg back. Exhale to bring it forward in between the hands, setting ourselves up for pigeon. Wonderful option to prop the hip up using one of the blocks if you're feeling a bit tight today. I'm going to keep the toes tucked. It just adds a bit more of a stretch, a little more dynamic in the pose, but it is just an option. Making sure the back leg is in the middle of your mat. The hips are square. And if it feels right, lower the forehead all the way down. You should feel a wonderful lengthening sensation in the left hip and leg area. And don't be surprised if any negative emotions come up. Begin to gently move out of the pose and moving into a three-legged dog, just to stretch out that leg. Lowering the left foot down to meet the right for our regular dog. And then as you inhale, finding that 3-point on the left, bend the knee and let the toes fall to the right side of the mat for our flip dog. So this is a wonderful release for the front body. It opens the heart and the chest, Reverse that motion, finding the three-legged dog, and then lowering the foot to the mat. Walking the hands back to the feet, hanging the head heavy and forward fold. Let's inhale to roll up through the spine. Exhale as you get to the top, letting the whole body settle. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, releasing forward into our high plank. Lower the knees, extend the right leg back this time. Draw the knee up between the hands, setting up for pigeon on the other side. Checking in with the alignment, making sure the hips are square to the front of the mat. Option to exhale and release the upper body over the right leg. Letting go of everything. Breathing fresh oxygen into your lungs. And exhaling that which no longer serves you. We store a lot of difficult energy in this area, so just accept it and know that it eventually will change if anything's coming up for you. Beginning by lifting the head and then the shoulders and the torso, coming out of the position gently. Palm the mat with the hands, pressing back into that three-legged dog, and then dropping the right foot down to the left, giving yourselves a moment in our regular downward dog. Just resetting before we lift those right toes again, bend the right knee, and drop it to the left side of the mat, taking our flip dog. This pose is a little bit advanced, so don't worry if it feels funny. Just play around. This is what yoga is all about. Just finding new things and exploring what your body has to offer. Let's reverse that flip dog, coming into our 3-point. Exhale to lower the feet down to match. Let's find our high plank and then press it back into downward facing dog. We're going to do this a couple of times, just resetting the body, becoming present with the mind and breath. Let's lower all the way down to the belly. Feeling gravity press you into the earth. On an exhale, feel all the muscles release. Let the mat support you. On an inhale, let's find a baby cobra, just ever so slight. Exhale to release. Let's press it up. We're going to make our way to a wide-legged seated straddle. So facing the long side of your mat, just opening the legs and sitting up tall through the spine. Knees should be facing the sky, so don't let them roll forward. I'm just going to stay seated straight today with a tall spine. But if it feels right, take your blocks or reach forward towards the ground if you want to deepen the stretch on the inner thighs. As you breathe here, just allow yourself to feel the subtle energies swirling within you. Noticing how wonderful it is to be alive. Let's shake out those legs and flutter the eyes open, making our way to come lying flat on the mat. Hug your knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug here. Adding in a sway from left to right, massaging the sacrum and activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Coming to stillness, let's extend the right leg up to the sky and then the left. Finding a bit of release in the backs of the legs and hip joints. Letting the neck and shoulders remain soft. And let's come into our shoulder stand. So supporting the hips with the hands at the low back. You'll shoot the toes up towards the ceiling, lifting the hips above the shoulders. The goal is to create one straight line with the body. But be mindful of your breath here. If it's labored or short, that means you need to back off a little bit. Lowering the feet down to the mat, finding our plow. Only taking this as far as feels right for your body. It can be very intense. Release those hips all the way down to the mat. Finding a twist on one side. So letting both knees fall to the left or right. I have cactus arms here, so just whatever feels good on your shoulders. Taking big belly breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Taking the knees to the other side, letting the spine release and lengthen. Keeping both shoulders grounded on the mat as much as possible. Returning the knees to center. Let's bring the heels in towards the hips, planting the soles of the feet on your mat. We'll press through the feet, which lifts the hips up towards the sky, finding our bridge pose. We'll lower the hips down and inhale to press them back up. As you exhale, lower down to the mat. Inhale to tuck the tailbone, lifting the hips one more time. Inner thighs are energetically pulling towards each other. Hold it here. And release. Great job, guys. Bring the soles of the feet to touch, allowing the knees to fall to the sides of your mat. This is our reclined cobbler's pose. It's a very vulnerable position. So trust me, trust yourself. Just allow the comfort of this asana to settle in. Rolling to one side, finding our fetal position. Letting the blood even out from our hard work today. Allowing the nutrients of our practice to truly settle into our bodies. On an exhale, we'll press up to find a seated position. Palms are facing down on the knees. Let's inhale, stretching the arms overhead. Exhale, prayer hands come down to heart center. We bow and say namaste. Thank you so much for being here with me today, guys. You should feel really proud of yourselves for taking the time to do something good for your body. Please hit that thumbs up button, and as always, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Take care.